This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 621 of the Dressage Radio Show, official podcast of the United States Dressage Federation on the Horse Radio Network, brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products and TotalSettleFit.com. On tonight's show, we were starting a new series promoting small businesses. After that, we will be joined by Brittany Fraser-Beaulieu, talking about the challenges of competing in 2020 while looking to qualify for the Olympics. We will then bring you a great trainer tip from Jennifer Williams.
This is Reese Koppler-Stanfield from Georgetown, Kentucky.
And this is Philip Parks from Rockwood, Ontario, and you're listening to the Dressage Radio Show.
Hi, Phil.
Hello, Reese. How are you?
I'm good. You are not at home, are you?
Not at home this week.
Yes!
My wife and I took a little time and we're just visiting our families a little bit up north. So we did a little drive today, and we just arrived, and it'll be good to get a little bit of time off.
Yeah, you guys, your lockdown is easing in Canada because you've been in lockdown, well, till now.
Weeks and weeks and weeks, yeah.
So long.
So that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So, I mean, and you know, it happened to be advantageous that the weather turned really hot and all this, you know, summer stuff. So we thought, hey, let's just get away. Let's visit our family, which we have not seen in since before Christmas or sometime in the winter.
A long time ago. Yeah.
Cool. Long time ago. So yeah, we're really happy about that. Happy to get a break. Happy for the weather. Like all
of
this
it.
awesome
Just
stuff.
happy.
Yeah. Just happy.
Did you feel like, you know, a pony that got loose with a lot of grass and you got to run like free?
Yeah. Only the pony doesn't know it has to go back into the paddock eventually. I think this is the downside, that they are free and they think they're free forever.
Right.
I don't have any misconceptions about that. We're going to go back to work next week and kind of look forward towards maybe getting some show season in and
what?
You know, more great stuff on the horizon. So yes, we're feeling very positive here, and everybody I talk to, and you know, we're hopefully getting back to it, and carefully, you know, going to get on with our lives, I think.
Good. Yeah. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. I love it. I'm excited for you. And I hope you guys, because you haven't shown, you guys did not show last year at all. So I think we got one show in. Okay.
We got one show in, and it was good, and all that stuff. But yeah, it's going to be knocking out, you know, what do they say? Knocking out the cobwebs or whatever.
Yes,
we're going to knock off the rust and try and get back to it. So that's a little bit daunting, and you know, like I've talked about in the show, we really, you know, try to go out and have success. But I think expectations have to be realistic for our first show, getting out there, and you know, and those kinds of things. But hopefully this year the first show won't be the last show, and we can, you know, work on things that we need to work on, and make goals and all that awesome stuff we talk about on our podcast here. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I'm so excited for you. We did a little bit of that for sure. We did a little bit of that today. We had one of the young horses. We did a ride test with him. He's got to start. My assistant's horse needs to start going places. So we did a little ride test with our local judge, which was fun. And just kind of, you know, same thing, like kind of getting out there and starting to move and do the things, which is great. We have another little show coming up. Big Michael, go to that. And again, just kind of keep the cobwebs from forming on him. He's like, wait, I haven't been in the ring in a while. I don't know, what is this? Which is great. So it's been nice. We're kind of doing a show a month right now, which is nice.
Yeah, so that's like a kind of a good summer project of, you know, not being too crazy like it gets in Florida, but just a show a month. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's nice. It's just enough to like, okay, it gives you a goal to work toward and then something to like fix. And also for me, it's good for me to keep going in the ring. So that's a good thing. So all is well with that for sure. But Phil, I don't know if you guys were traveling, but I watched the observation. It was the U.S. observation event for Tokyo that happened last night. So we record on Thursday nights. So the Grand Prix has happened, and Adrienne Lyle had an amazing ride. She had an 82.413%. I think that's her career high to this date with that horse. And he looked great on Salvino. He looked super. It was such a flawless test. And you can see they really have materialized into such a good team. So I know everyone's super excited about them. And then Sabine Shout-Carey, who came on the show not that long ago and did a lovely interview about Senseo. She had a beautiful ride. Oh my goodness. It was the best I've ever seen that horse look. He just was awesome. Stefan Peters and Supen Casper had a 77.696. A couple little hiccups last night, and we'll see tomorrow's the Grand Prix special. So it'll be fun to see he make some adjustments and that, just little things, nothing terrible. And then Nick Wagman, he made some mistakes, but had, and I've seen that horse in Florida when we were down there, and like he did 17 ones instead of 15 ones. So I'm sure he'd take that back in a heartbeat, but he had a lovely test, and he has a great partnership with Don John. Definitely a partnership that is worth watching. And then a good friend of our show, Olivia Lagoy-Welts, was fifth with a 75.131. And, again, she's a good friend of ours and always cheering her on. And she is such a beautiful rider. And they also had a lovely test. So those are your top five. And Alice Tarjan Incandescence, it was a 74.282. Also a very good ride on a really cool up and coming horse. So that was the top six. And it was quite, a good one. And then Charlotte Yorst was seventh, and Ben Ebling, who was on the show not that long ago, was eighth. So it was quite a fun group. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I think we're all going to get together and have a little party and watch the special. So that was fun.
Yeah, I hopefully can find some time or get away from family commitments and watch too, because it's a really strong group that's that's competing here for a place on the Olympic team. So yeah, we wish them luck, and we hope everyone has success, not just a few people, but everybody. I think it's a really nice group of experienced riders and up and coming riders, and there's always exciting things coming from our southern neighbors.
Yes, exactly. So it's really fun to watch that. And I like the format. There were some questions on Facebook, which I thought was interesting. The reason that the class starts at something like 8:30. And the last ride last night was Sabine, and she didn't ride till 10:45 at night. But they're doing that, and they did it at WEF, which is a different venue. It's just across the street where the jumpers normally are. They did that because it was to simulate Tokyo as much as possible. And, the horses at this point have all kind of been to global. So I think it was really smart of them to, number one, do it late, but number two, change the venue, because the horses have gone so much to global. I think changing the venue was a really good idea. So that's pretty fun to watch. So we'll continue watching it, and that's happening in Europe too. I mean, all the teams are starting to form, and it's starting to get Olympic-esque. And I just love the Olympics. I cannot wait. I literally sit at the TV for 2 weeks. I don't even care what's on. I'm watching it. I'm like an Olympic junkie. All of them. It's like 4 in the morning.
Competitor, who just loves competition.
I just love it. And it's like surfing. And by the end of the broadcast, I'm like, I know all about surfing or, whatever, like track and field. I was a swimmer, so I love watching the swimming. Oh yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, I am so tired for those 2 weeks because I stay up way too late. The late night coverage, I'm like, yeah, I'm on it. And poor Travis is like, it's time to go to bed. I'm like, no, swimming. So I'm excited. I mean, fingers crossed the Olympics are, as of right now, they're going and I can't wait. I'm so excited. So I love it. So it's great competition, and we have a really good show. We're going to get started, and I think everyone's going to fall in love with our next guest. She is really quite a young lady, and I hope you guys enjoy the interview with Zoe. Well, tonight I am so excited to introduce to everyone my mentee from the Optimum Youth Equestrian Scholarship, or OYES, Zoe Moumoutjis. Zoe, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we got paired together through OYES, which is very fun. We've had a couple conversations together, and you have this amazing small business that I have already participated in. And it's such a cool program. And we wanted to introduce you to everyone and introduce your small business. So I wanted to have you start off and tell us a little bit about yourself and your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been riding since I was 8 years old. I'm 18 now, so that makes it 10 years. I started riding hunt seat, and I showed in a lot of equitation. I never really got around to jumping. I was always a little bit nervous about it. But I ended up moving to Massachusetts from Pennsylvania, and I had to look for a new barn, which led me to eventing. And recently I ended up with my own horse. He is an Arabian cross named Prince, and I decided to pick up dressage with him. So that's been super exciting.
Oh, I love it because, of course, I don't jump. So I'm with you. I am completely thinking this is the smartest thing.
You've got the perfect mentor.
Yes, you have the perfect mentor, the non-jumping mentor. Phil, you don't do a lot of jumping either, sir.
No, it's been a while, and I like Zoe was my younger years. I'd back a lot of horses and that kind of thing, but I was always a little nervous about the jumping as well. But inevitably I had to do some of it in my early years, but now it's all, the biggest thing is a cavaletti, a ground pole, that kind of stuff. And I'm okay with that. But anything more, it's just can be nerve wracking for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I totally get it.
So Zoe, to tell us a little bit about your horse. That's what I want to know.
So I recently started leasing my horse in December. He lived in my backyard in a barn that I renovated. He just turned 6 in April, and he is a little bit green. He actually got a bone chip removed from his front right fetlock, and he's fully recovered from that surgery, but he was supposed to be a jumper, and I have him, and that's the reason I'm leasing him, is because he needs a new path. So dressage, we thought, was the way to go, and so I'm just working on the simple basics with him, trying to learn some dressage myself, but really at this point, we're working on our transitions and rhythm for the most part.
I love this. Tell us about your barn. That is so cool. You renovated a barn in your backyard. I love it.
Yeah, the barn has 2 stalls and a little tack and feed room. The other horse at the barn is named Scout. It's one of my good friend's horses that she is boarding with us. Scout is a 14-hand paint pony, and my horse is 15-3 and a paint horse. So they are so cute, and they love each other. Sometimes, when horses seem to be best friends, but it also seems like they hate each other, they cannot be pulled apart. They are so herd-bound. But it's a very nice barn. We have a little aisle, and we have 2 paddocks, one with grass and one without. And then we have a little outdoor sand ring that we ride in. And we're connected to 11 acres of trails and a nature reserve.
Wow, that sounds pretty perfect, actually.
Yeah, so, it's been my dream since I was little.
Okay, yeah. How did you get involved in the mentorship program?
So I have a friend who told me about the mentorship program. OYES caters to people in underrepresented communities in the horseback riding community. I personally identify as part of the LGBTQ community, and so I wrote about how I have faced adversity in the community and all of the struggles I have encountered with that. And I ended up getting matched with some amazing mentors, Reese being one of them. I believe we mostly got matched with each other because I'm learning dressage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. I think so. And which is so fun. So, but one of the things that when we talked, I was so impressed with you as a person, and you have such drive in the horse world and to have your horse. So tell us about your business, ponysocksbox.com.
Yeah, so Pony Socks Box started because I saw all of these like regular sock subscription boxes, and I was like, it would be really cool if I did this with horse socks. And I found that it had never really been a company that had happened before. I saw a couple places that explored the idea, but didn't really end up going into depth with it. And so in December of 2020, I got to work creating my first box. It was really exciting. It's not the first business I've ever started. I had another nonprofit in which I made jewelry. So I'm pretty good at setting up the basics of the business. It was just connecting with suppliers and figuring out all the logistics and filling out all the forms so I could be a legit business. And so basically every month you get a pair of super cute riding socks with some gourmet horse treats that are made from usually someone local who sells handmade horse treats. I try to support other small businesses who are run by people around my age because I know that I love to be supported by the people in my community as well. And I like giving them a little boost. And I just think the boxes are so cute. I set aside myself one every month as well.
They're incredibly cute. I'm just going to say, if anybody knows me, I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the podcast, but I love anything unicorn. And so I opened my box and I squealed. My husband was like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "I got unicorn horse treats." And then of course I went and gave them to my horses, which are my unicorns, and I took pictures. So I was so excited, and I love the socks. I also love socks. So this box was like, I opened it up and it was perfect for me. And I was like, this is so fun. And I can't wait. I have to order my July box. Actually, I'm looking forward to that because it was I like the boxes because it's just like a little bit of fun that comes in the mail, and it's just exciting to have them come. But I just loved my box, and I thought this is such a great idea. And I love also to help young people with their goals. And so what is your goal with the business?
So my goal with the business is really to kind of be able to, I think, as well as the secondary income from my regular part-time job, I just really want to be able to support myself with something I love doing. And Pony Socks Box is something that I just really enjoy doing. And I really love the joy it gives other people when they get it. I love getting the reviews of people being so happy when they got their box. And I think that's really my main goal, is to kind of spread joy and a service that some people would find fun.
So what would be your advice to anybody who's like kind of sitting around, and especially a young person like yourself who's kind of like, I have this idea, I don't know how to take it forward, I don't know what to do. What's your advice?
This seems like the most basic advice I could give, but honestly, don't give up. There's been so many times where I've just wanted to give up because it seems like too much work, or I don't feel like I'm growing fast enough. You can't hold yourself to impossible standards. You're going to grow at whatever rate you grow, and you just have to find the joy in doing what you love. And you just cannot throw the whole thing away, and you have to work towards that end goal. And that's really what's kept me going.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And this is why, Zoe, we hope that our listeners are going to flood you this month and next month. That would be awesome. And I think everyone will they'll get so excited when they get their box. But we're so happy that you're a part of our community, and we're glad that we met you. And we really hope that getting small businesses out here on the show and interviewing people like yourselves with such great ideas and it's just such a good story, that we hope that everybody can continue sort of with their horsey goals. And so tell us real quick, how is dressage going?
So I actually just got off my horse maybe an hour ago, and I think it's going pretty well. For someone who has limited knowledge about dressage, I do take lessons every week, but I can genuinely feel a difference from when we started, and I love feeling that progress, especially with a green horse. It makes me so happy to know that we're really starting to click and we're starting to learn new things. And today we actually were able to half halt effectively. And that made me really excited.
That is really exciting.
So everything's going along really well. We're moving at our own pace, but Prince has been amazing. He's such a good sport. And I'm really excited to continue learning.
I love it. Well, Zoe, tell us all of your things. How can our listeners find you? Order from ponysocksbox.com. Tell us all the things.
So I have an Instagram. It's Pony Socks Box. It's socks with an X. And Facebook, if you search Pony Socks Box, you can like us on Facebook. And then the website is www.ponysocksbox.com. And all of the information is on there. Don't be afraid to shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram if you have any questions. And my email is contact@ponysocksbox.com in case you have any other inquiries.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Keep going, girl. And we're going to stay in touch and hear how your journey is going to go with your dressage.
Yeah, absolutely.
This Nutrition Minute is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, the company that simplifies your search for research-proven nutritional supplements at kppusa.com.
Have you heard of Saccharomyces boulardii? It's a yeast, a type of probiotic. Often referred to as S. boulardii, it benefits your horse's digestive tract in several different ways. One unique property of S. boulardii is that it supports the stimulation of something called brush-border membrane enzymes that are found in the intestinal lining. These enzymes help your horse digest starches and sugars in the small intestine. When the sugars and starches are more completely digested, fewer of them escape into the hindgut where they can ferment and cause imbalances that lead to colic, diarrhea, and laminitis. Saccharomyces boulardii is found in Nalox Advanced, made by Kentucky Performance Products. Nalox Advanced contains a blend of yeast, fermentation solubles, and stomach buffers. These ingredients work together to maintain your horse's digestive tract in peak condition. Nalox Advanced is recommended for horses of all ages and stages and is fed on a daily basis.
This Nutritional Minute has been brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products. You can find all of their terrific products at kppusa.com.
Well, tonight we are so happy to have back on the program Brittany Fraser-Beaulieu. She is the rider of All In, international rider from Canada, and All In is one of my favorite horses on the planet. Brittany, welcome back.
Thanks for having me tonight.
Well, we had you last time we talked to you, you had just had a baby and you were getting back to riding. Tell us, how's the baby doing?
Oh, he's great. He's actually turning 2 next week. I can't believe it. The time is just flying. I will say he's in terrible too. To be very honest here. He's so fun, but he is very busy, into everything, loves to explore, not afraid of anything, which terrifies me a little bit, but that's okay.
I bet. And so, we're starting our first series. We're talking about sort of adversity that riders that have been working on qualifying for the Olympics, nothing has been named yet. So we're just talking about what is it like? You were in Florida all season, but tell us some of the things while you're working toward qualifications for the Olympics. What are some challenges that you've been running into?
Well, this year was, it was a challenging year for many. I will say, first of all, we were so fortunate and blessed to be able to compete the way that we did at Adequan Global Dressage Festival. They made, everything run extremely smoothly, and they made a very safe environment for all of us, which was key for helping us. So that was pretty amazing for all of us to be able to compete there. This year, for me personally, my husband could not come to Florida. He came for Christmas, and then he had to go back home for working. And with Canada, with the restrictions, we had the 3-day hotel stay plus a 2-week quarantine on top of that. So traveling back and forth to see myself and our baby was next to impossible. So my mom and my dad were in Florida with me this year, helping me. My mom lived with me, which was a huge help because I worked every day. I have many ambitious students that are truly amazing. So my schedule was pretty full with my own horses plus the girls. So that part was, was a little bit hard to manage the schedule and everybody showing at the same time and a baby at home. Sometimes I felt guilty that I wasn't at home with him, but I knew he was in very safe hands with my mom. And I tried to, I tried to bring him to the show as much as I could to get them out of the house. And so thanks for Wellington for everything being so close, and travel wise, it was, to getting around to the stables is so easy in Wellington. So that is, very, very easy. For the horse show perspective, my competition season went very well. I had a little bit of a hiccup halfway through the season where my horse All-In had he has bad allergies, and it's not every year in Florida that he suffers from allergies, but now and again he does, and this year he did. So during the 5-star, he started to cough and really blowing out a lot. So I decided he was not fit to compete for that show, and he needed a few weeks of rest and medication. And I'm very fortunate that, he came back from that and he got over it. So that was a little bit of a hiccup for me this year. But other than that, I had some personal bests in the Grand Prix. I had 73.6, and I broke the Canadian Grand Prix freestyle record, which was 79.3, which was
what? That's awesome.
It was
congratulations.
Oh, yeah. Woohoo. That 2 years. Yeah, that's amazing.
So that was my highlight for the season. And we also, at the end of the season, because another challenge is we don't really compete in that many venues anymore. We are at Global for 3 months, and the horses don't see another venue. So we did go to the Ocala Horse Show. What a facility. Wow. Incredible. So that was kind of our last show before we made the truck back to Canada. Show went very well, and after I competed that show, I was fully qualified for the Olympics. The way our criteria works is we needed a score after April 1st, a Grand Prix and a Grand Prix Special. So I completed that, so that made me fully qualified for the Olympics. So I did not need the show again.
Yes. So then you trucked back to Montreal, and you've been. Well, what have you been up to?
I trucked back to Montreal. My horses went commercial, and my groom, my mom, my baby, and my dog. We drove back in a small car.
God bless you.
How many hours? How many hours is that? Yeah, just to give people perspective.
25 hours.
How many?
And with just 25.
Oh.
With almost a 2-year-old. And I said at any moment, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. At any moment, I thought if this was going to go south, I was going to go to the closest airport and fly home. But if I flew home, then I would have to stay in a hotel for 3 days, pay up to $2,000 with a baby by myself.
Oh my God.
I think you can leave for 15, you could have left for 15 minutes to get fresh air. All I heard was horror stories about that whole procedure. So I wanted to boycott that at any way possible. But I hooked up the iPad to the car, and he was so amazing. We stopped one night and slept overnight, but I had all these horror images in my head that he was going to be crying, and we couldn't console him, but it didn't happen.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God. Thank God. So we drove 25 hours back to Montreal, and it was that part went very, very smoothly. So we all had our COVID tests, we all had our papers, proper papers, and the border guards were greeting us with open arms.
Oh, does the baby have to have a COVID test? I'm just curious.
No, he did not have to have a COVID test. And actually, my groom and I did not have to quarantine. We did not have to self-isolate because we were with animals, and the officer knew that I needed to keep training. So we did not. My mom with us did have to self-isolate because she was not a rider or a groom. So that was a little. She
maybe wanted the quiet time. I'm just saying, maybe she was like, "Oh darn, I have to read a book."
You can relax and not chase a 2-year-old around. So that was kind of my experience for this year. Like I felt so fortunate, being able to, like I said before, just to compete and go to the horse show and feel safe, looking at everything what's happening all over the world, in Europe with the EHV and all the horses being sick and horse shows being shut down. It just felt like there was one roadblock after another happening for horse shows not to happen. And in Wellington, we were just cruising on through them.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna ask you, like, what do you think about that for you is key to that level of achievement and that level of success, while there was so much distraction going on, and while you were, working and teaching and helping those young riders, and tell us, what's the secret?
I think for me is I know my horse so well, and he knows his job. So I knew as long as I kept him healthy and fit, he would go in there and perform for me. My groom and my coach, I have to give full credit to. My groom, Katie, she keeps everything in line. Everything is perfectly organized. She knows, I'm a little bit distracted when I have a million things going on in my head. So I ask her where something is. She knows exactly where it's at. Yeah. She also knows my horse Owen extremely well. So any little thing she would, communicate us. We would call the vet if we needed, or a farrier, or, everything in Florida is so easy to get access to when you have a problem, which is also great. And training with my trainer, Ashley and I have had a relationship now for probably almost 10 years. And she helped me if I wasn't training with her, I never trained a horse to Grand Prix before. All In was my first one. So, and Ashley was a huge success to that. So she also knows my horse inside and out, which, just takes a little bit of stress off everybody, I think, because I know he's going to go in there and perform. If he's a little bit ADD or looking and not paying attention, he maybe will mess up the changes, but he's not going to do anything that's drastic. So I have so much confidence in him that he's going to go in and do his job, which gives me more confidence, gives my trainer more confidence. It's a little bit of a win-win. I said to my husband and Katie, I said, whatever he gives me after the Olympics is a bonus, because this horse has brought me so much success and has brought me to the top of the sport, and he deserves whatever he wants.
I love it. And I think you're so right. I mean, when you really talk to top professional riders, it is so much about the team they have behind them. And that is,
the farriers, the massage therapists, there's endless people that you can count on. When All In was having his breathing problem, Meg Miller, the specialist, was there, seeing what we could do to make him better. And, it's a team effort in so many ways. If you don't have a team that works with you, it's really, you feel pretty lonely.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And like you said,
especially when there's a problem.
Yes. And, again, we get really spoiled in Wellington, and I'm not sure about home for you, but we're very spoiled there. You need something, you can have it basically that day, maybe the next morning.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And at
so
home, I have a great team around me too. I have a great team, but I have to realize that it just doesn't come in at half an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to be a little bit patient, which sometimes I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's hard. And when you're competing at that level and going for the Olympics at that level, it's incredibly difficult. But Brittany, we can't thank you enough for coming on. I mean, this is such a cool conversation. I've been listening to podcasts with other athletes going to Tokyo and the struggles. I think, we all see the amazing photos of the success, but, don't always know or understand sort of how difficult it is to compete at that level and to have a family and a baby and all of those things. And COVID just made all of those challenges that much harder this year. So
a lot of sacrifice goes into it, I'm sure.
Yes, that is for sure a lot. But, it's kind of when you sign up for this role, you have to kind of have many different plans. If you have one pathway of a plan, and you think you're going to stick to that path, you got another thing coming because it never works out that way. You need about 5 plans, and one of them I'm sure will work, but there will be roadblocks. But, that's what horses make you good at. They make you think quick, find a different plan. If that plan doesn't work,
go to the next one. Yeah, it's so true. Well, Brittany, we just can't wish you enough luck going forward. We have fingers and toes crossed as Canada starts to name the team and hearing about your adventures going forward. We can't wait. So thank you so much for your time tonight. And how can our listeners find you online?
You can follow me on Instagram at Brittany Beaulieu, or I also have a website, Fraser-Beaulieu Equestrian, or on Facebook, Brittany Fraser-Beaulieu.
Fantastic. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed going forward, and we wish you the best of luck this summer.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Have you ever wondered how to keep your horse sound and how to prevent future lameness issues? Have you had to deal with abscesses, stone bruises, laminitis, navicular, or soft tissue damage in the hoof capsule? Or maybe you're a farrier and you want to learn how top vets around the world diagnose and treat various hoof care issues. The Humble Hoof is a podcast for both owners and professionals discussing the health of the hoof and soundness of your horse. Check us out, published twice a month on Horse Radio Network.
Well, Phil, this is fresh on my mind because I just left the arena right before we came in to record, and which at my farm is not very far. It's like 25 steps, but yeah, I'm looking and I was at my ring when we record, and I was thinking, gosh, we don't check our stirrup leathers enough. And I actually was just chatting with a student at the end of her lesson, and I was rolling up her stirrups, and I was like horrified at the state of her stirrup leathers. And I literally told her, I said, by the way, it is time to replace your stirrup leathers. So number one, make sure you're checking your stirrup leathers a couple times a year, that they're still intact and everything looks good. And then I explained to her about the stability stirrup leathers from Total Saddle Fit and why I love them so much. And I explained to her, and then I showed her the website of the difference in the stirrup leathers she had and the stirrup leathers from the stability stirrup leathers, which are significantly wider and help stabilize your leg more. And she couldn't believe it. She was like, "Oh my gosh, why did I not know about these?" And I said, "Well, you probably don't listen to my podcast." But
so you're getting her on all accounts.
Yeah, I got her on all accounts.
You don't take my advice. All that stuff. Something that people don't realize is how much your stirrup leathers can stretch over time, and especially if you're not mounting from a mounting block, if you're mounting from the ground, but even if you are mounting from a mounting block, that the left one will stretch a lot. That's why they always say, switch them back and forth, every so often. So, that's the first piece of advice. But the second one is if they've really gotten out of whack and they're really stretched, it's time for a new set anyway.
Mm-hmm. It is. And the stability stirrup leathers, to me, it's a no-brainer piece of equipment that you should upgrade to. And she was so happy and she had no idea. So again, they're fantastic. They come in regular and slim versions. And you can find them on the website, www.totalsaddlefit.com. And everybody over there, Justin and his team are fantastic. And we really we really believe they will help your riding. So take a look at those stirrup leathers.
This week's dressage training tip is brought to you by Total Saddle Fit, home of the shoulder relief girth at TotalSaddleFit.com.
Well, tonight for our Total Saddle Fit tip of the week, we are so happy to have Jennifer Schrader-Williams on the show with us again. She is an international Grand Prix rider and owner of Somerville Premier Dressage. Jennifer, welcome back.
Hi, it's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, you have a great tip for us this week, which we have never had before. So I'll let you get started.
Yeah, I just thought a really nice tip would be to focus on a few minutes of groundwork every day before your riding session. I often see people come in the arena where the horse, first off, bowls them over at the mounting block sometimes.
Yeah.
And secondly, once they get on, maybe doesn't necessarily walk off, doesn't really go in front of the legs for a few minutes, and maybe runs through their hand right off the get-go. And so some of the things that I've learned in my many years of trying horses for sale or getting horses in that are for sale, that I want to test a few things on the ground first. And really, I do this because it's for my safety, and it really saves my body. And this can be a really short test. It does not have to be an elaborate session. But literally, if I just go and cluck to the horse, this is on the ground, I'm standing next to him. I might even hold the reins up by the wither as if I'm close to a riding position and I'm walking along the side of the horse. I cluck to the horse and I just ask him to trot. And right there, I generally will have a very good feel if he's going to tell me absolutely not, or if he's going to run me over. So I trot the horse for a few steps, and then I halt the horse. And when the horse halts, again, does he stop with me at my shoulder, or does he just run me over? And so this can be very simple: cluck, trot, halt, the horse doesn't run you over. And when you establish that foundation on the ground, it truly carries over into the saddle. And it's also a really great precursor to what we're going to do when we start the horse in hand, and starting with half steps down the line. I just start to bring that pressure a little bit more contained, and my cluck means go, and my body means don't run me over. So it's just one of the tips that I check in on, and I've found myself to be feeling a lot safer in the saddle on a horse I don't know when I test those two pieces before I get on.
Yeah, I think that's really great, because a horse that will kind of push you around while you're trying to lead them, or just in the stall or in the grooming stall, like, they have to have manners. Otherwise, you're not setting a good tone. You're not setting a good tone for when you want to get on top. And then, you have to be the boss kind of, or a good leader. I'm going to say you got to be a good leader all the time.
Yeah. And I'll say too, it just, a few minutes of that work in hand really warms up their back. And it gives you a completely different feel when you get on them, that they already feel like they're ready to go in front of the leg. They already feel like they're ready to be softer in the contact and a little bit more access into their hindquarters. So it's just something, I've learned it the hard way, like many things in my life, but I've gotten on horses that I haven't tested and said, hey, let's get forward. And I've gotten a surprise every now and then of their opinions of that. So it's just something that I can get that test down to about 20 seconds up to the mounting block. And I don't always trot and I don't always halt, but I test that I could. And that's a little bit more down the line, but it's just a lot of horses feel like we're in a good communication, and sets a good tone for the ride often.
Well, and I have to be honest, I've been bucked off getting on a horse. It was my own horse, but I've been bucked off getting on. So I think this is such a good thing. I kind of do this myself because, I learned the hard way. And I think it's really important.
I've learned that exact lesson as well.
Yes, exactly. And so once you've had that happen, like I'm pretty cautious now getting on because of that. And really my horses have to stand still. Like that's not a negotiating thing. And, so I think it's such a good thing to do. And especially a horse you don't know. I also think it's good to have somebody hold the horse when you get on. That's my thing. Or if you're off the property or something and you don't know the horse, it's just a safety thing too. But like I said, I got bucked on my own horse. So, but he could be a little tricky. It was cold and we were at a horse show and I thought he was okay. And obviously he wasn't. But I learned my lesson. So I think that that's such a smart thing to do. So Jennifer, I love it. And I even love it, when you're trying sales horses or you're trying horses you don't know, because even all three of us are professional riders and we're saying, oh yeah, we do that. But especially if we're not used to getting on new horses and you're in a new environment, of course, you're probably a little nervous. The horse is picking up on that. So I think that those are all such good tips. I love it.
I was just going to say, and even just with some days off, it is a nice little quick way to test them. And it takes 30 great. You have it's no big deal. But if you find something that's not working, then you have an opportunity to address it before you're back.
Yes, like maybe a lunge. We've had some funny temperatures, and it's like, maybe that horse needs, but it gives you a heads up on what you're getting that day. Even on horses, it's not a bad idea. Like you said, we had that happen. Had a student come in yesterday that was like, that weather change, I really should have lunged him. He was a little bit, she was okay. Everything was fine. But I thought, we dropped to like 40 degrees. So it's not a bad idea to kind of check in. So I love it from a safety, but also just for the productivity of your ride. I think that's great. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for that tip. I love it. How can our listeners find you online?
Yeah, so I am on Somerville Premier Dressage on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And we have a great website, somervillepremierdressage.com, that you can go and read about history, about the horses we have for sale, about the horses we're competing. And we have some really great sponsors that have been keeping us going for years. Halter Ego, Kingsley Boots, Albion Saddles has been with me for, 15 years. And Triple Crown Feed and Adeptus Nutrition. They're all keeping our horses looking beautiful and keeping me looking nice in the show ring. And they've been a great support.
Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on the show. And we wish you luck this summer.
Thank you so much. We're going to really enjoy our time together and keep working to improve every day.
Well, Phil, as you guys are getting ready to start back to competition, we wanted to remind everybody of our great book club book that was really designed to help you in competition. It's John Hames' Ride Big, The Ultimate Guide to Building Equestrian Confidence. Phil and I both are enjoying this book. I have read it, and Phil's working on his, but it really, truly is a great book. And I think right now it's really timely for everyone who's going to competition or just generally working with their horse and whatever you're working on. I think you'll really enjoy it. So, Phil, we have another cool announcement we're going to put it sort of in the email and Facebook shout outs. As always, we love those. But we hope today you enjoyed Zoe's interview and that got us talking that Phil and we just love the community here on the Dressage Radio Show. And if someone has a business similar to Zoe's that is an up and coming small business of something that you do and you want to promote it, we would like you to send Phil and I an email to we want to highlight some businesses that our community has and all the things that you guys are working on. Again, Zoe's Pony Socks Box really put a smile on my face. And I was like, this is a great business. And I love helping young people develop their riding and financial stability is part of that. So we really want to hear from you on what you're doing, and we will choose a couple as they come in that we want to highlight. Isn't that right, Phil?
Yeah, we're really interested in building community and giving back to our community and helping people with their projects and their riding. So we thought we would bring some listeners, small business people onto our show to help highlight and promote their small businesses and give back in whatever way that we can. So this was a great idea. Reese came up with it because of her mentorship connection to Zoe, but I think there's lots of really awesome small businesses out there that can grow, and we want to help them grow. And I think hopefully this idea takes off, and we can get one every other month, or a business every 3 months. Whatever.
We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Yeah,
we're excited about it, and we hope the community is as well.
Exactly. So send us an email. I'm Reese@horseradionetwork.com.
And my email is philip@horseradionetwork.com. That's Philip with 1 L. I think some people get that wrong sometimes. Shoot us emails. Tell us about your business. Tell us about your friend's business. And hopefully this project can take off.
Yeah, we love it. And as always, you can find our show notes and links to today's guests on our website, dressageradio.com. Like us on Facebook, just search Dressage Radio Show. Follow us on Twitter @Horse Radio. My website is maplecrestfarmky.com, and my email is reese@horseradionetwork.com.
You can probably find me best on Facebook, or my email is philip@horseradionetwork.com. We'd like to thank our sponsors tonight for allowing us to put on a good show. That's Kentucky Performance Products and Total Saddle Fit. Don't forget to check out all the other shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Everybody, keep your heels down and your shoulders back, and we can't wait to talk to you next week.